Lights, camera, action.
UPS, you piece of
I was like, you know what I want to do one day? I want to join a gang.
We're in 2022. Upgrade the cameras.
Yeah.
We can see Saturn and shit, but like I can't get a clear picture of someone robbing the gas station.
That was the greatest night in the history of television.
Well, we're back again.
Yeah. We back.
We back on a hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day. And again, with more AI.
Yeah.
Because there was still a lot left on the table last time we talked AI. And in even more development, much like our remakes episode. Once we talked about it, it birthed new updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very quick. Like, I don't even know what's happening. Sorry. That wasn't a productive interjection, but that's how I feel. It's just like, what?
I understand it.
Yeah.
Even though you said nothing, you said everything.
Exactly.
I
like
heard,
how?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the AI generated commercial?
The Bud Light one?
No.
Oh.
There is that one, huh?
Yes.
The pizza
Yeah.
one's the one I saw.
Pizza?
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I wonder if they're pretty similar.
They might. Terrifying?
Yes.
Like fever dreams?
So the Bud Light one's like that too?
Yeah. So shout out Riley.
Okay.
He sent it to me and he was like, what the fuck is this? And it was like a beer commercial. Maybe not specifically Bud Light, but it was a beer commercial. And it looked like everything that it pulled information from was from an early 2000s beer commercial.
Yeah.
It had All Star by Smash Mouth playing.
Ah.
It looked old. Like it looked like early 2000s.
Yes.
And people's faces and arms and hands and shit were fucked up beyond.
Deformed.
Yeah. And it was just terrifying. Scary.
It's unholy.
It's Sam Smith unholy.
It's the actual devil himself.
Scary. Let me see if I could play the beer commercial.
Show me
one.
the beer, and then
Yeah.
I want you to see the pizza.
Okay. Because I feel like AI generated beer commercial. Here we go.
Oh, maybe I did see this fucker.
Yeah. It's like a nightmare, man.
It's a bad dream.
It's a very bad dream, and you can't wake up from it. And then the world is falling apart, which is even scarier.
Yeah.
An AI would just think to put that in a beer commercial.
So, I actually did see that one. I forgot I saw that one, and for some reason I thought I didn't see that. And then like the All-Star Smash Mouth just like loop.
Yeah.
They don't stop coming, and
They don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
It's literally. It does make me wonder what AI is. Is AI actually pulling from human experience, or are they pulling from the dimension of hell?
Yeah.
Are they pulling from our dreams themselves?
Yeah.
I mean, what is what at this point? So let's find the pizza commercial.
Yeah. Show me the pizza commercial. Because I'm either going to be scared or really want pizza.
Yeah. It's a pretty similar vibe.
Okay.
Are you ready for best pizza of life?
Oh,
Bring friends
yeah.
down to
I did
Pepperoni
see
Hut
this.
Spot.
Wait, did you send this to me on TikTok?
Oh, did I? I probably did.
Special
That
touch,
might be where.
cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things.
And more
Need
secret
delivery?
things.
Pizzas come fast. Knock knock. Who's there? Pizza magic. Eat pepperoni.
Oh,
Hut
no.
Spot
Her
pizza.
mouth.
And when
Oh.
I say thank you. Your
See, I
mouth
don't
said,
like that.
Pepperoni Hut Spot. It's like family, but with more cheese.
Pepperoni hug spot.
It's like family, but with more cheese.
Pepperoni hug spot.
This is
That-
how. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's how short term my memory is. I forgot I sent that to you on TikTok.
That might be where you sent it. Because I definitely saw that. Pepperoni hug spot, man. These feel like they're out of a Rick and Morty episode.
Yes.
Like shit goes wrong for Rick and Morty, and they end up in this place where like there's a place called Pepperoni Hug Spot.
Yes.
And people's mouths are like weird like that when they're eating pizza. That's what that seems like.
Or like they're in that arcade playing like that game, which is like an incarnation of life. Like you're just playing Greg,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you just go into the universe and you're like Greg and you live a whole life. And like, that's it. I don't know why it feels like that, but it feels like that too. Even though the life of Greg is in a normal reality, it is all a dream. It's all a simulation in there, technically.
I really want to know are these real people?
Right.
Are these modeled after real people from old pizza commercials?
Right.
And if so, how terrifying would it be to see your face in one of these AI generated things
Yes.
being like contorted in different ways?
I think we would need to figure that out. Yeah. And then is it worse if it is real people, or is it worse if these are people who never existed?
Right. Right. Like, you know how they say everyone you see in your dream is someone that you've actually seen in real life?
Yes.
Like, what if it's like that?
What if it's like that?
It's just like a version of that.
Yeah. Or what if they are creating humans who've never existed
Yeah.
based on ideas of what people look like?
You know, every person who's ever gone missing, like throughout history, like what if it's just like modeling after them?
Oh my God. Nah, because that's like just like the lost people. Like
Yeah.
imagine like you're like your daughter got kidnapped and you're watching an AI generated pizza commercial.
And you see her?
Movie idea.
Write that shit down. That's
Like what the fuck?
lit. That's like
Let's put that
a
in the
way
notes.
better version of that Taylor Lautner movie.
Right. Wait, which one is that?
I never saw it, but the trailer had me intrigued. But it's like he was a kid who went missing or something, and he's like, I don't know, a young adult at this point, and he finds out that he was once a missing kid on like a milk carton or something.
Okay.
And he's like, what? And he starts doing his research and stuff happens. I don't really know.
That's cool.
I've never seen it, but
I
that
mean-
sounds
Yeah.
way cooler.
Yeah. This sounds better.
This sounds way better.
And I'm not confident in Taylor Lautner's ability to draw me in to a story, unfortunately.
Yeah. I like that idea a lot. Now that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And I want to expand on that.
Let's do a quick, I mean, I think, you know, maybe, I mean, to keep up with the essence of maybe like the tone of those commercials, like maybe this is like right after, I mean, I guess it would have to be in the time of AI, but I think the kid or the person is gone missing in like that early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're stuck in that era of time and AI is pulling from like the consciousness of those who have been damned. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know how it works.
It's a lot. It would take a lot of time to
It
really
would take, yeah. It would take a lot of
snuff
time.
it out.
But we'll do it
We'll do it.
because that's interesting enough. When an idea excites me like that, I obsess about it.
Is this the first Redband like feature script? Possibly.
A Redband feature production. But yeah, that's so they're on strike.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you heard or read something that it was like in regards to AI, because you sent me some stuff too. Let me see if I can pull it up
Yeah.
about, well, basically people talking about what we've been kind of talking about.
Right.
So for Joe Russo, one of the two Russo brothers
Yeah.
who directed Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, Infinity War, Endgame. Maybe you've heard of him.
I thought these guys were cool. I'm just going to say off the top, but I'm a little disappointed in what they had to say here.
Oh, yeah. So Joe Russo believes there will be movies made by AI and they could engineer storytelling. So this is his quote. You could save the AI on your streaming platform. I want a movie starring my photoreal avatar and Marilyn Monroe's avatar, and it renders a story. So I don't know the whole. Did you read the whole thing?
No, but I know, you know, for people, and let's remind you, because I don't know if you feel this way. I am kind of the resident pretentious auteur filmmaker guy.
Yeah.
You know, that is a part of my brand. I don't take myself too seriously, but to me, that's deplorable a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that's a hell I don't want to live in.
Yeah.
Stories take heart, stories take soul. And, as much as I love Marvel, Scorsese sounding a little more sane by the day.
Yeah.
Because that is a literal theme park ride. And what did Scorsese call Marvel? He called them theme park ride movies. Mm-hmm. And that idea that he's putting out there, in this country, something like that, if it even catches a little bit of fire, if there's even a little bit of a spark, look at what happened with streaming. There was a spark and now we're here.
Yeah.
And if that's the evolution, and they get even a little bit of an inkling that some people are interested in that,
Yeah.
then there won't be human writers. There will be you and Marilyn Monroe in a fucking noir alien film,
Yeah.
and then you'll just like watch yourself. You'll pay like $10,000 for AI to render you and like, what's his name? John Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
In a Western.
Yep.
Against like Clint Eastwood as a villain.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because of like virtual reality and these experiences. Like it's more, even like a Bitmoji or fucking, our interests are more revolved around like, we want to see us in a thing.
Yeah.
And that sounds like what he's speaking to. And so like, yeah, it's going to get there. And that's like, there seems to be two pieces of that. That seems to be vindicative. I don't even know. I'm trying to sound really smart right now.
Vin Diesel?
That sounds Vin Diesel of a collapsing society in both directions. One in which true art will be squeezed down to the pulps.
Yeah.
And another in which we kill our idols and we no longer desire. And I don't know if that's a collapsing society or a thriving society where we kill our idols. But what do we do with that? Do we become great, or do we look like fucking Wall-E, the movie Wall-E, and we're all sitting in these chairs, 400 pounds?
And you know how they have those cameos or whatever that you can pay a celebrity to like say your name?
Yes.
A stupid amount of money for them to say hi to you.
Right.
In a video or happy birthday. I can see that. Like I can see AI being like, pay, like you said, a stupid amount of money, $1,000 to have a little scene between, like let's say who's your mom a big fan of?
Oh man.
Like, who's
I
one
think,
of her?
yeah, mom loves, I would say like, let's go with, and maybe she loves me or she hates me for this, but I'm going to go with Antonio Banderas.
Okay.
Antonio Banderas.
I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Even I love the guy.
I mean, yeah, he's great. Spy Kids? Good as shit.
He's no Robert Pattinson, but
Yeah. Right. So she's a fan.
yeah.
So you could, for her birthday, pay $1,000 and have an AI generated thing where like you can scan her, submit a couple photos, and it creates a model of her, and she can be like kissing him on screen, or
Right.
something, or like just having a conversation with him or whatever, right? And I can see that happening.
Yes.
And then even more so with people like Elvis, right? Celebrities who are gone,
Right.
And you can star alongside them in a scene or be in an interview with them or look like you're on the red carpet with them taking photos.
Right.
I could see AI getting to that point.
I love what you're saying there. And there I go, clearing the throat. I love what you're saying there because I'm starting to get a smoker's voice. I love what you're saying there because I do see that there's a chance that experience you're talking about is going to replace the theater experience.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be more worth it. People are going to be potentially more interested in having that experience than sitting down and watching something that someone else made.
Right.
That seems to be the threat here, in a sense. And that I think And I wonder if even the writers are thinking there. I wonder if the writers are just thinking they're going to put a script in a algorithm or an idea in an algorithm and it's going to create a script. It's like, well, what if shows become obsolete altogether?
Yeah.
Or movies become obsolete altogether? And I don't. Did you ever watch the latest? There's going to be a new season of Black Mirror. By the way.
There is. I'm excited.
And I can't wait. Did you see the Miley Cyrus episode?
I did.
I actually hadn't watched that until like a week or two ago. And now I'm realizing that's kind of like very spiritually on brand because it's kind of relevant. But what also is this going to do to the creator, right? Where we're going to get an experience where someone could take advantage of a celebrity, put them in a coma, and then just use their artificial intelligence brand to continue on their legacy and make billions of dollars off of them.
Yeah.
That's also something we might be looking at
Wild.
some point.
And that's crazy. That's insanity.
Draining their life force.
And a new thought, just because all these thoughts are happening so rapidly as we're talking.
Yeah.
How sad would it be if like eventually we do become kind of a Wall-E society?
Yeah.
We become less detached from actually doing things. And like, imagine instead of a couple coming together and being like, hey, what do you want to do tonight? What should we do for date night? Instead, they sit on the couch and they go, what should we watch ourselves do tonight? And they're like, ooh, plug us into whatever.
Whoa.
And
Black
instead,
Mirror
like,
needs to get us to write for them.
For real. I have so many ideas now, Black Mirror. It's not even funny.
So that's brilliant because you really, really break down the potential. And I think everything you said in that one idea is like end game terror, because yes, what would that do? That would make it obsolete. And even then, so what do we want to watch ourselves do tonight as things that you should be getting off your own ass and going to do?
Yeah.
And then in the realm of film and television, we're in a nostalgia society now. We're only remaking things.
Yeah.
Or using intellectual properties that already exist and fucking burning them to the ground.
Yeah.
So instead of, new original films, it's like, hey, should we insert ourselves into Citizen Kane tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Should we be Citizen Kane tonight? Mm-hmm. And I'll play Orson Welles and you play, I don't even know if there's a woman in that movie because of the time period.
I don't. Yeah, right. Orson was every character.
Hey, let's be in Infinity War tonight and let me play Thanos this time.
Yeah, this time. Yeah, I like that. Like, I'll be Thanos this time.
And just stop making stuff because all we do anyways is look back to what we've made already.
Profound.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, I don't like this conversation.
You fucked me up with that shit. That's really it. Like, yeah, should we let's watch ourselves, and that's really it. Fuck. We need to start writing this shit down as real movie ideas. So it's like let's watch ourselves be happy.
Mm-hmm. Instead of actually being happy.
Bitch.
Damn.
Not you. I didn't call you a bitch.
No, yeah.
Just a generalized bitch.
Which, like, don't you think that the repercussions of that would be you being even more sad?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you ever woken up from a great dream?
Right.
And you're
right.
like, oh, that was a dream. And then you're super depressed.
Even an even worse potential fate for that is the absence of emotions at all. And it's like, let me watch myself be sad.
Yeah.
Let me watch myself be sad, happy. Let me watch myself be sad. And what do we do? What is the essence of what we get from film and television is a mirror. It's a reflection back on us. Mm-hmm. And if you're good at watching stuff, not watching things is a skill, such as reading things, right? Like they taught us like how to read in school, not just how to read words, but how to analyze, how to derive meaning from it. Yeah. And so essentially that's what's good about film and television. It's the same kind of idea. It helps us derive meaning. It helps us reflect back on ourselves. But what if that becomes the primary form of processing things.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I guess I'm getting at. And in terms of like, instead of watching a movie about grief, it's like I can't even experience grief. Therefore, I need an AI rendered version of myself going through the process of losing someone and grieving them.
Yeah.
Let's watch me do that, because I don't know what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah, because we've just become so numb.
Wow.
Whoa.
This is what's at stake.
Yeah, there's a lot. And like, yeah, we might be jumping the gun, but with how fast everything is moving, you know? And we've talked about before, like, oh, what could possibly, it's hard to imagine what could possibly take the place of streaming, but something has to.
Right.
Something has to. And I think after talking about this now, I think the more personalized experience, the streaming platform that can offer that first is going to completely shift the game.
Yep.
Something where Netflix kind of tried. They had, it was a Black Mirror thing.
It was the Black Mirror thing.
You could kind of control it and it had different endings. And
yeah.
So like they've dabbled, but now with AI, I think that can really ramp everything up.
Yep.
And you can have a much more authentic, personalized experience of seeing yourself on a screen in a movie or in a situation. And I wonder what that would do for someone who's in a horror movie.
Right.
Watching themselves get murdered or chased, or like, don't you think that would mess you up a little bit? Or your loved one, if your loved one's in it and you're watching them get attacked in the movie, like, don't you think that would kind of, even though you know it's not real, it's kind of like, I guess, the same concept of if you're dating an actor or an actress and you're watching them on screen go through something, probably still hard to watch a little bit. You're seeing them in pain, and if they're a good actor, it's believable. But I feel like that would do something to you, after a while.
This is stuff that's going to make television and movies obsolete, which makes me way more existential, wanting to go back to film school. But like we were talking about last week,
right? Yeah, it's crazy to think that there could be this like competitiveness between, like, there's an entire production.
Right.
You know, like a Universal Studios, but they only make AI generated stuff.
Right.
That would be insane. And they're going head to head at the box office with a human made movie. Yeah. Like, to think that we would be, you know, and then people who watch them, they're going to be criticized. Right. They're going to be like, it's going to be like a politics rant on Facebook or something. And they're going to be like, just watch this movie. It was actually really good. And then someone's going to go on there and be like, that was all made by AI. Are you sick? That's going to be Are you twisted? You know, and then like people who watch a completely AI generated movie are going to be shit on. And then people who watch only movies that are made by humans are going to be, you know, like, oh, fucking okay, boomer, you know, like, right. Oh, you still watch human made fucking movies? Yeah. Like, whoa, I remember when I was. Yeah. You went back and rewatched The Sopranos? Like, do you need to go to a home? Yeah, right. You know? Yeah. How's your hearing aid? What's the prescription on the lenses you watch that with? Right. Yeah. What I keep hearing, and is that the biggest barrier to getting this writer's strike figured out is greed by the people who run these companies. Yeah. The problem is, I don't know. I guess what I want to say is this might be the first writer's strike that doesn't get resolved. Maybe it's not this one, but maybe it's the next one that never actually gets resolved because they don't need them anymore. They go, you know what? We don't need you guys. And this is happening a lot, right? Yeah. Like, didn't we just have a strike recently? That, from what I heard, it was like 2007, 2008. A writer's strike? Yeah. I feel like there was one just a few years ago. So the one that was a few years ago, you're right. That was the one from, I think, Crew. Oh, so not specifically writers, but. Yeah, it was like the crews. Yeah. Which is like, well, there's a reoccurring theme. The people who are not either like the richest actors or the richest directors
or the richest producers or the literal heads of the companies of Disney, Warner Brothers, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. You know, everyone besides them is like, we got to do something here. These conditions are god awful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and if you've ever been on a movie set, you know.
Fuck yeah.
You know
dude.
it's true. You know it's that if you're like low level,
Yes.
it only gets worse the lower you go. So, yeah. I mean, you get treated like shit. You get yelled at. You get talked to like you're not a human being.
Well, the one time I was in Better Call Saul as an extra, I mean, they literally just had us in like a warehousey back room,
Oh yeah,
basically sitting on top of each other until it was time to until 5 of us got to go out there and then not even end up in the show.
time to work for your money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, that's how it is. I think that one thing I could see a benefit to this AI stuff.
I like it.
For sure. This wouldn't be how it's used because there's always like a worse intention behind it. But I could see it being really useful throwing together like a pitch package. Right? Rather than like writing out an 8 to 10 page document and somebody having to sit there, like throw together an AI generated 2-minute sizzle reel
I like it.
of your concept explaining, and then you can put the actors in it that you like envision for the roles and have them AI generated in there. And now these people have something to kind of look at, you know, your color palette, you can tell it, make it look like this movie.
Right.
And now it's 2 minutes out of a producer's day instead of however long it takes to read, you know, or the intern to read whatever. Like I could see being really beneficial in that.
I love that.
The new elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. No, I actually really like that. See,
Yeah.
that's great. That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need Estevan's ideas.
Yeah, because I think that would be great too, or even like doing like mock-ups for concept art.
Right.
You know, and I'm talking like quick stuff.
Right.
You know, obviously when you're really going into production, bring on that concept artist.
Right.
Let them do their thing. But if you need something quick and you're like, hey, this is kind of the concept I want to get behind, give them something to show or to look at. That's where I think it could be really useful in this industry.
Yeah, and then what's cool is that kind of also makes me think of the real pretentious film people on Twitter hate this thing, but I don't know if you've seen that like a lot of AI generated shits come out like what if Wes Anderson made Harry Potter?
Oh, right.
And they're able to make like the images like exactly. And usually it's Wes Anderson shit, but it's
It
like
is, yeah.
what if Wes Anderson made anything, right? And like there's genuine, you know, images that are the Harry Potter actors in a Wes Anderson vibe.
Yeah.
And sometimes what is an elevator pitch? Hey, I got this great idea. Imagine Harry Potter, but like in the style of Wes Anderson.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what it is. Yeah.
And you could actually maybe hand, you know, someone something and just be like, yeah, like I'm thinking of making like I want to make like this is maybe when I would do like The Exorcist, but like Christopher Nolan's. You know? Like
Christopher Nolan made The Exorcist.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, oh shit, that's kind of sick, dude. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, check this out, bro. Like, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it could work.
It really is like it could be the new elevator pitch.
Yes.
And to me, I think hopefully anyway, I would be much more interested in like, yeah, send me that video, I'll watch it.
Right.
And then now you can see someone's sizzle reel rather than like, let me read this thing.
Right.
But I also I'm not the biggest fan of reading anyway. I'm ashamed to admit, but
Yeah. Well, I'm not the biggest fan of making fucking like log lines and fucking elevator pitches and stuff. Like, bless you.
thank you.
Like,
No,
so-
same.
You
Yeah.
know? So I'd love to have some help.
Yeah. Like I hate writing that stuff.
Yeah.
Like coming up with the description or the log line or something captivating like that. Like it's way easier for me because I'm a visual person. So it's way easier for me to translate an idea or a concept that way.
And it's really cool that there could be something that exists that instead of, I remember one time, and this is maybe, like you said, concept artist, right? Is usually what people would probably do. But in my head, I was just like, well, I guess I'll just find some like pictures online that represent this idea that I have.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, what if I could get something to actually generate the exact feeling I want
Yeah.
and create an artificial piece of art, but that really shows like, yeah, this is what I'm envisioning.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and even in the more extensive, I guess I'm just thinking about this real like, low level idea I had as someone who's not even a filmmaker, but would be an amateur filmmaker, that I would have to say like, here's a portfolio of photos I found on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, it doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it could be helpful in that way, but we know it's going to be used. Like the other thing that you sent me too was this screenshot from Discussing Film.
I shit you not, when I sent you the screenshot, I had to go back and make sure it wasn't a parody account, because I couldn't really believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a parody.
No,
This is real news.
this is legit. This is the like Discussing Film fucking Twitter page.
Okay, so this says from them, multiple studios are exploring using AI to generate scripts based on books and other public domain IP. The studios reportedly plan to hire writers to rewrite those AI scripts when the writers' strike ends. So, didn't we literally talk about that
Yep.
before you sent me that?
Yep.
I was like, this is probably like Disney will probably, when it comes to their rewrites, they'll have an AI just like generate the next remake that they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then have a writer come in and like refine it and tweak it and all that kind of stuff.
That's exactly what it is. It's going to be, and you called that to a T, another Redband Stradamus moment.
Stradamus.
I mean, it's insane how quickly that is. And what an insult to the writers. If the writers don't see that and take absolute like warlike mentality against it, that's basically them saying like, we're going to prep some stuff for you guys to come in and trim the fat around, you fucks.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, I would be horrified.
I'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You don't think that I could do this from the ground up better?
Right.
Yeah.
Manpower, man hours, money, and that's what it all comes down to. It comes down to money. So
That's all it is. Yeah.
you said it right, and that's what they're gonna do, and they're gonna take, you know, I don't even know, damn Snow White. They're gonna take the Seven Dwarfs prequel movie. And they're gonna have AI come up with the Seven Dwarfs prequel movie, and then they're gonna get like fucking, I don't even know, like low level writers, you know, just some the guy who wrote like Horrible Bosses and fucking and then the guy from Reno 911. I don't even know their names.
Yeah.
Just like guys who write, you know, like they kind of gig write, and then they like have their own little things on the side.
Yeah.
It's gonna be those kind of guys.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That sucks. And I really don't think I think the response to AI has been mostly negative.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like, I don't like that or whatever. And, you know, the writer's strike.
Right.
So I really don't know. Like AI is developing and advancing frighteningly fast, but society is not accepting it as fast, which is like, where does that leave us?
Right.
You know, like I think you're right. A writer's not going to want to come in and be like, what? I'm cleaning up some computer's work. Yeah.
It's not worth what they're going to give you, which is nothing, you know?
Yeah. And then you get a lower paycheck because of it.
So let me hit you with this shit that I heard. So there was, and I made a joke about, you know, AI writing season 2 of The Bear.
Yeah.
And that's because on that podcast, on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gutz, they had on a man named Alex O'Keefe, who is, first of all, he's our age, which made me extremely insecure.
Nice.
He was he's our age. He was a writer on The Bear.
Okay.
And that makes me feel like a failure.
Me too. Thanks for bringing me there with you.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
And he actually put his Venmo out there as a joke Okay, so he went on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz, and the first joke he made was that I would have made more money working at the restaurant that the bear was based off than writing for the show.
Yeah.
And then his second joke was giving his Venmo out, which the audience promptly sent him a lot of money. And at one point, he put out a screenshot of his Venmo, and there was $20,000 on his Venmo.
Damn.
And he said that he officially surpassed through donations the money he made writing on The Bear season 1.
Wow.
And the problem with that, so someone might think to themselves, $20,000 for one gig is like amazing. But the problem is the ebb and flow of the industry.
Right.
You're on your first writing job and on The Bear.
Mm-hmm.
You're 28. Which, by the way, I don't even have one of those, but whatever. And you get $20,000 in one swing, but you don't know, A, if the show's going to come back.
Right.
B, if that's going to be enough of a resume to get you another job or a gig.
Yeah, or you'll come back.
Right. Yeah, the show might come back, but you might not even come back.
Yeah.
And you might not be able to go to, I don't know. Even you might not even be able to go like make the reboot of like That's So Raven as a writer and fucking get on that show and make enough money that's going to even match The Bear. So I guess what I'm trying to say is with the amount of money I make, I probably make like between $30,000 and $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's enough to get me to survive my day to day. So if he makes $20,000 on one gig, but that's the only gig he gets for a whole year,
right.
He is in the poverty class of living. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what people don't get. They think like you were a writer on The Bear, and obviously your next step is you're going to go write for Atlanta, right? And then Succession, and then Big Mouth, and then fucking, because that's what happens next. And it's like, hey, not really.
Yeah.
Like that guy writing on The Bear might have made less money than a high schooler working at Taco Bell, actually.
That's wild.
If not the same.
Yeah. That's crazy to think that.
Right.
You put that into a perspective for me even.
Yeah.
And I understand this stuff. And yeah, it's so funny like what numbers do.
Right.
When you start actually like mapping things out in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's really either easier than you thought or worse than you thought.
Yeah, well, I think that's what blew my mind, like thinking about my taxes of the last year and seeing how much I made this last year. And it's like, wow, like, okay, like this is crazy because I survive off of this amount of money every year.
Yeah, somehow, right?
Somehow
we find a way.
And even though like, and that's the other part where I'm going to also flip the existentialism on our head, because hopefully this writer strike actually goes through. And if we become writers, we actually make a nice wage off of it.
Yeah.
If not just a simple middle class wage, which is what he was saying, like, writing in Hollywood used to at least be able to, you could put your kids through college.
Wow.
And now that's not even the case. It's a gig economy where you might get one gig for a show. And now this is the other kicker, right? Because you might think like, okay, you made $20,000 a year, or you made $20,000 for a writing gig on, I don't know fucking shows anymore. I'll just use 911 again because it's on Fox and that's like your most generic type fucking show. But The Bear won awards.
Yeah.
And they won writing awards.
Yep.
Wouldn't you think people winning awards for writing would be making enough money to potentially invest in owning a home?
Yeah, right.
But they're not even close.
Not so much.
They don't even make enough technically off that one gig. And I would go ahead and argue, like, if you were a writer on The Bear and it was that successful, then you should be able to make enough money for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
If you made that shit one nice bit of The Bear,
yep,
survive off a year off one season of The Bear.
And here's the other thing about that is you mentioned the Taco Bell employee.
Yeah.
That person's working maybe 9 to 5. Monday through Friday, let's just say.
Yeah.
A writer, though, making potentially the same wage of $20,000 a year, if that's their only gig, right? This is going off the idea that that's the gig they get in 1 year.
Sure.
They're writing constantly because writing is rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. And it doesn't stop just because the show starts shooting.
Right.
Writers are there on the set and they're rewriting and tweak this line, come up with a funnier joke. Let's get a different bend here. Let's whatever it is.
Yep.
And so the hours versus the pay is like, look at that.
Yep.
You know? That's a huge deficit there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for 20,000, you said it perfectly. The high school kid at Taco Bell might make 20,000 in a year, but he's probably working less than 40 hours a week on that.
Yeah,
if he's doing that, right? In contrast, the writer might be pushing 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
Maybe on like 6-day weeks with like 1 day off if they're lucky.
If they're lucky. Yeah.
So those are other things I've heard too, which is like part of the way they're trying to have writers write these shows is they're trying to put them in I guess they're called like small rooms or something or little rooms. I don't know what the fuck the phrase is, but it's basically this idea of like, you guys just sit in this tiny room and hash out the fucking whole season. And then we have the script and what the guy, so the other interview I was listening to was the guy who created The Wire. And he was talking about like, this is kind of an area where AI is coming in too, where it's like, you guys sit in this room, you get a few weeks, come up with the whole show. We got the script, get the fuck out of here. We don't have to pay you anymore. Damn. Okay, what about when you get to set and you need rewrites and blah, 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 and this and that? AI.
Oh, now a chat GPT, you can say, make this line funnier.
That's where AI is coming in.
Yeah.
That's where AI is going to come in. And that's what they're already doing to people. I don't think they're using AI, but they are already trying to cut costs by not having writers be a part of the production piece. They want them to just simply be a piece of pre-production. And what he was trying to get at is like they need to be there during production and even in post.
Yeah.
They need to be there even in post to get certain things. Not everyone is Bill Hader. I was just listening to Bill Hader talk about Barry. Well, Bill Hader's a brilliant writer, and he directed the episode that he's editing, sitting there with the editor editing. And Bill Hader's the one who can be like, well, this would be funnier because I'm fucking Bill Hader. I'm a fucking genius. Yeah. You know, it's like, you're a fucking genius, Bill Hader. But like, not every editor or director sitting there is going to be able to come up with the right thing.
No.
In post, where this doesn't work, okay, we need you to come up with a line real quick and we can ADR it.
Yep.
You know?
And AI, at least right now, and I know this shit can probably get really insane really quick, but as of right now, an AI is not going to be able to capture that writer's voice.
Yes.
They might be able to think of a new line, but Bill Hader is going to say something way more different than Bob Saget would.
Right.
Chris Rock is going to say something way more different than Kevin Hart would.
Right.
So like Chelsea Handler, different from Chelsea Peretti.
Yes.
It's just like the voice is not going to come across the same. And I know a lot of these writers, like for TV shows, like Atlanta, for instance, like it's Childish Gambino and probably 10 to 12 other people.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it all filters through, it all goes through like a filter at the same time. And so, and I think the idea that you try to do is you try to bring on writers who are most like you.
Right.
So you guys are you have kind of the same taste in jokes and get a little bit of diversity here and there with the way people think. But an AI might just, who knows what they would come up with. It's not going to be the same voice as the writer.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, that's what I guess I'm wondering now, because I'm kind of thinking about some of the stuff we've talked about so far. And I guess I'm wondering what, like, where do the crossroads lead? Like, is one direction where film and television becomes completely obsolete, or is the other direction where, like, will only certain people get into the club of being, you only get like Bill Hader, Childish Gambino, Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, and then everything else is AI.
Yeah, right.
And becoming like one of those small groups, but then like, so it's like either or, right? Like either Bill Hader, Jordan Peele, Gambino, they like cease to exist, or only a select few of people are ever going to get the opportunity to be that person, where what we can hope to see is a thriving market of artists who all get who get to leave it up to the consumer.
Yeah.
And you decide who gets to be the next Jordan Peele. And you decide who gets to be the next Bill Hader, because you as the audience gets to go thumbs up or thumbs down. But a lot of different people are going to get a chance, you know, but that's not even how things are now.
Yeah.
In a sense, right?
I wonder too, like, you know, people who write spec scripts and, or even just a regular like feature film script or TV pilot, like if they did it through AI, they let the AI write it and then they submit it and the studio loves it. Like that would fucking suck. Be like, you didn't even do anything.
Wow.
And now you're getting a job versus the person who's like been grinding on this idea and mapping it out for years. And it's their whole being. It's their passion. They want to see it come to fruition. And like, do you think eventually, well, I don't even know, because Hollywood wants AI stuff. I was going to say, do you think like it'll get to a point where there's a screening process to prove that like you actually wrote your script and not an AI?
I mean, I hope so. You know, I really hope so. I think one of the words that the creator of The Wire used when he was talking about this was about AI was mass plagiarism. You know, it's basically like plagiarizing every single element from everything that's ever been. You know, you put the scripts for Lord of the Rings, the scripts for Game of Thrones, the scripts for this, and you say, create a fantasy show.
Yeah.
And it's just like pulls from every element of all of these things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I sure hope so, because it's going to have to happen. You know, this is something that is making me think of, I guess, in the market that we have now for like literature, I have come to learn by listening to some people who have written some books, like that there's actually an issue with that too in the literature, which makes sense. Like plagiarizing, you probably think about books more than anything, but or essays, I guess, at school.
Yeah.
But genuinely, like people literally taking someone's entire book, putting it through a system that strips it of certain phrases.
Yeah. Like the beats
or certain reoccurring words, or just something that makes it look different enough.
Yeah.
And then republishing it, you know. And then there's also like a market that became saturated. I remember when me and Ashley were looking at side hustles, there was this whole thing about, what did they call it, man? It's like it's just like certain books, right, that you can basically mass produce, like yourself, like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about,
and you like sell it on Amazon,
and you sell them on Amazon.
Yeah, I've seen people talk about that.
And it became saturated so fast because it's like basically at the end of the day, like a few people had some really good original ideas, and then a bunch of people swooped in and they're just using. But also like it is a trick of like mass production where it's like you're just like create a bunch of word searches and Sudokus and journals, and you know, fucking like agendas or like planners or whatever the fuck, and just pray that those things pick up. But then if you're really lazy, you just copy and paste someone else's thing and then just do your own thing too there. Yeah. And that's what the AI is probably going to get into with the script writing, with the screenwriting, if not already.
Exactly.
Because there are actually a lot of websites that people put up their scripts.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Online forums and stuff like that.
Yes.
For like peer review. You can just pull from that. Yeah, man. Or even this. Even this, like how we're talking about stuff. It could probably search for those keywords, listen. And then like, you know, any of the times that we've been on here and been like, oh, that'd be a cool idea. Right. And now it's pulling from that. I don't know.
I would actually be flattered. I'm not going to lie.
I would too.
I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I mean, so yeah, I mean, the writers, in essence, what I've gotten is that the writers, I guess the last writer strike specifically, 0708, it was a lot about streaming and residuals. And it was basically an idea that was like, well, computers, no money is going to be made through computers. So let us just put our content out online.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter as much as TV, right? And like now it's the same idea, but it's like with like streaming is obviously working. Residuals are still not happening. And artificial intelligence is threatening to they took our jobs, like South Park. So this is good. I think we all should stop watching TV for a little bit anyways. I don't know what you think.
And just like go outside and hang out with each other.
Yeah. I think we need a break. Like pray to your ancestors, like do a spell, like, talk to a spirit, like this shit, because if we end up in Wall-E world, I mean, God will truly die.
Yeah. It's wild.
God will truly die. They think God is dead. What? Because drag queens are out there. That's what they say. Then God is dead because drag queens do library readings. And it's like, no, you really want God to die.
Yeah.
Like, let artificial intelligence take all of our art away.
For real.
Then God will be dead.
There's a process to art that I think AI is missing because AI can just shoot it out like it's nothing.
Yeah. And I believe art is incredibly spiritually informed.
Cathartic. It's cathartic. It's a
cathartic.
release for a lot of people.
Yes.
Like even this podcast for us, we come on here and we just talk. It's like therapy.
Yes.
And we create something and we put it out. And it's like that. We like doing that.
Absolutely.
So like you strip that away from artists, like, yeah.
And it'll be a sad day in hell when me and you are sitting around going, man, it would be a lot more financially compensational or whatever. It would be a financially smarter decision to put the mics away and do some other shit, artificial shit.
Sell crossword puzzles on Amazon.
There you go.
Work at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
For $20K a year.
Right away. Right now, that might be the right idea, actually. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm late for my shift, actually.
Right.
I'm going to do a ASMR canned beverage sip.
Please
Open
do.
and sip. Oh. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the movies.
Right.
When they have the popcorn sound and then the soda thing.
Oh, God.
You never want anything more than in that moment.
The same people who came up with that shit to convince us to go buy snacks at their theaters are going to be the same people who bulldoze the movie theaters.
Oh, they're going to pave paradise. Put up a parking lot like that song. If I could play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I think like the benefits again to some of this AI stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen like what Adobe's doing with Adobe Podcast.
No.
Okay. So they're still in beta, but they have 2 free tools right now. One is called Mic Check, where you can say a phrase into your microphone and it'll show you like if you're hitting the sweet spots on the distance from the microphone, your volume, the background noise, all that. So you can have good, like the best possible audio capture.
Perfect.
The second one is speech enhancement.
Right.
That shit is insane. It's not perfect because I attempted to use it on our podcast. It's not perfect.
Okay.
But like you could have us talking like this.
Yeah.
And only camera audio, which anyone who's just used scratch camera audio knows it's pretty garbage, right?
Right.
You're far away from your source. There might be a lot of background noise and echo. Throw that audio on Adobe Podcast, let it do its thing, and it sounds as if they're wearing a lav and they have a pro mic right here.
What the hell?
It's crazy.
Right.
It's insane. And I've used it and I was blown away. Again, some of the stuff didn't work perfectly, but my point is, for devil's advocate, the great thing about it is if you're a low budget or no budget filmmaker.
Right.
And you have a dream and a vision and you want to put something out. It's already been a lot more feasible to go and do so. Now with, how good cameras are just on our phones right there in our pocket and stuff. But like with a lot of these AI tools, with that in particular, you don't have to spend hours learning how to properly capture audio and how to record it and how to edit it, or you don't have to hire someone to come and do sound for you and edit.
Right.
And the person who has a very minimal crew and no money, maybe hardly any gear, can actually go and do something, make their vision come somewhat true.
Right.
That's inspiring.
Yes.
And I like that. And I like that because it will hopefully keep Hollywood on their toes. Like, hey, here's someone with no fucking money who made this really good looking, really incredible sounding video.
Right.
And Hollywood's over here like burning like a dumpster fire.
Yep.
On a lot of their stuff. Not
Yes.
everything. But so like to play devil's advocate, I think the tools that AI can provide to someone who doesn't have all the resources of a Hollywood, which now I'm saying that out loud, that's fucking insane. Hollywood has all the money and resources in the world, and they're trying to still lean on AI.
Right.
You don't need it. You know who needs the help is the person who doesn't have the resources, the gear, the money, the funds, the time even, right? If they're working their Taco Bell job and they got to pull doubles just to make rent and the car payment.
Yeah.
They don't have time to shoot a film or edit a whole film or even the money to devote to renting gear, or you know what I mean, unless they throw everything at it. But now it's much more possible. You can shoot it with your phone. You can have this AI tweak the audio for you and make it sound incredible.
Yes.
And the other tools that are coming out too are just as insane. You can have AI create your movie poster for you if you want. So I think like for someone like us on our level, or even with less money or less resources, like those tools can be a huge help and even create more competition, because it's like, shit, there's no excuse now.
Right. I love that, man. I love that. And that's, maybe what people like us who aren't in the industry yet, what maybe we can bring as an outside, because we get to observe this from the outside in, not the inside out. And I bet you being on the inside, observing this take place. Yeah. I mean, it's all fear-based, right? It's all like, how am I going to live? How am I going to provide? Well, we're not there. We're just people from the outside looking in who have an aspiration. And what that might give us is the ability to come in with like a little bit of balance. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And say like, there's a way that both these things can work.
Yeah.
There's a way that both these things can be true. You know, let's also not deprive ourselves. Like, you also don't have to, struggle harshly to get where you're going. You can, I wouldn't call it take shortcuts. I would more call it like the, think smart, not harder kind of
Work
stuff.
smarter, not harder. Yeah.
And it's like, what you're also speaking to is the inability to also make any more excuses.
Yep.
Which hopefully will propel a lot more people to be willing to give this thing a shot.
To just create. Yeah. To create their thing. Like no more roadblocks. Because that's definitely been the case for me in many instances. It's like, well, I don't have someone to do this, or I don't know how to do that. So I'd have to find someone. Well, they want to charge money. I don't have the money to pay them. So yeah, I think like using it, like it should be an assistance. It shouldn't be at the forefront, I guess is the point.
Yeah, like a great servant, but a terrible master.
Yes.
Yeah. And like, I know that's like a weird phrase, but there's a spiritual guy who uses that phrase about the rational mind. He's like, the rational mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I also think a point that you kind of brought up was the fact that, yes, like Hollywood is really almost showing their cards by even insisting that they would lean on artificial intelligence to create content just to keep the machine going. And I do think that is kind of what I'm also thinking of is like, there are so many ways that Hollywood is threatened at the moment, which is good. They should feel threatened, such as the fact that most people actually want to spend more time watching original content creators on YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah.
And most people would rather do that than watch. And like, I think that's that's both a good thing and a bad thing, because the bad part of that is Hollywood realizes that the one thing most people will come out for is remakes, reboots, or sequels. But at the same time, people maybe need to realize that what you are craving by watching your favorite content creator on YouTube is exactly what the writers are like trying to fight against. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Hollywood's slowly falling victim to the like creator content conundrum, where like we've talked about it in the past when a lot of the Logan Paul drama was going on, but where these content creators are just having to put out so much stuff so frequently that they get burnt out. And so they're just like doing anything and everything they can get on camera.
Right.
Like, what are we going to do to, I don't know, create something. Let's do something wilder, do something crazier. And then they get burnt out, and then they make a mistake or they slip up and do something stupid. And the content suffers. Right. It becomes quantity over quality. Right. And I think with streaming platforms, that's what's happening right now. Because they're so focused on which platform can have the highest number of features on there. Right. You know, whose numbers can be larger. And how do we get those numbers? Well, we got to just make shit. Just make a ton of shit. Everything's a TV show. We're putting it all on here. You know, we're remaking this. And whether it's good or not, just put it up. Just get it out. And I think that's what is happening right now. Yep. Yeah. And then with the introduction of AI, it's going to just ramp that up even more. Like, oh, yeah. Have the AI write 10 episodes. Go. And we shoot it. And then, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I know I've beaten this like a dead horse or whatever the saying is. But like, I think that where we're seeing that the most is in the comic book film world, where, you know, Ant-Man visually kind of looked like crap half the movie, because
I still haven't seen it.
There was such a rush to get it out because their deadlines are insane. And it's like, no, this is phase 6. We need fucking Ant-Man before goddamn Guardians 3. You know, and it's like, okay, well then Ant-Man has to kind of look like shit. Yeah. Because, and then it really does strip away the quality of the movie, because it doesn't matter. This movie is no longer a movie that means something. It's simply a bridge to the next one. Yeah. Which is what they've created.
Bridges and Easter eggs.
Bridges and Easter eggs.
That's all it's about now.
It's been exactly what it's about now. And it's like, and I understand the pretentious film people on Twitter, because there was like that new Rockstar's YouTube channel. Have you ever watched that? It's a YouTube channel that, you know, they're the YouTube channel that's like 73 Easter eggs and fucking, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there was this, I guess there's a scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 where it's like Rocket Raccoon and his friends from back in the day. I still haven't seen it yet.
Me either, yeah.
But like, you know, it's just a screen grab of like a young Rocky Raccoon and a bunch of other probably talking animals. Yeah. And New Rockstar's Twitter account was like, there's a whole Disney Plus show to make out of this one interaction. And pretentious people on fucking Twitter were like, this is hell. This is what's wrong with our fucking world.
The problem.
You know, it's like we're perpetuating that. Like, you know, you get like 5 minutes in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and they're like, yeah, we need a Rocket Raccoon prequel fucking blah, blah, blah.
Oh my God, man. It's just the worst. Yeah. And it's getting worse. How do we beat it, man?
But I like your devil's advocate, because I do like, I'm not interested in being entirely doom and gloom. I really do think if we want, you know, we have to create the future we want to see. And, you know, we need to find alternative ideas. AI isn't going to go anywhere. No. It told us in the beginning of the episode, here to stay.
Here to stay.
You know, till the very end. So how can we mitigate this? And I guess another thought I had before when I was coming over here is the implication. There are powers. There's powers invested in this AI, you know, conundrum taking off, because what's a loss for artists is a win for tech companies. And like Silicon Valleys and like these kind of people, they're banking on this right now. They're coming up with the most high tech fucking whatever AI generated algorithm that can be the most like a person.
Yeah.
They're hard at work at that right now.
Oh, for sure.
They're grinding out
That is where
what can we make that replaces the human being, because that helps us as human beings.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's going to get my family taken care of.
Yep. That's wild, man. That's where we are, though.
My brain hurts.
Mine too.
Yeah.
A little depressing. That's why I wanted to leave it on a lighter note with some plus, you know, for the amateurs, I guess. For the
right.
I don't even like the word amateur because that always makes it sound like someone who doesn't know what they're doing. But just someone who doesn't have the resources and money that Hollywood does.
Yeah.
I want to leave it on that light note that, like,
yes,
we can have some tools that can really boost our low to no productions or low to no budget productions. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think that's where we need to leave it off, because, you know, there's a lot of hope to be found in this, such as, like, you know, the more that these things can be geared towards helping people who don't have the means
Yeah.
to still do something and still get something. That's going to be, so we hope and we want, and I believe that there are good people out there who are actually devoting their time to giving resources to people who don't have the money or the time to do this. And I do believe very strongly that those people are out there and they're doing that.
Me too. Me too.
Me too.
Hopefully you're out there doing that.
I know.
Yeah. Hopefully you're one of them.
Please do it.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about the new AI developments, and AI particularly in conjunction with Hollywood and like movies and stuff. Cause this stuff's getting crazy. And I have a feeling once again, we're going to put this episode out. Some new shit's going to happen and it's going to be like, wow, already? All right.
Yeah.
Fire up the mics again.
It's going to be, yeah. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
If we're firing up the mics for like the first AI web series or something. I know it won't be like a full ass movie or something, but it'll be the first, like it started with the AI Drake and the Weeknd.
Yep.
Now we got AI commercials. The next time we pop this bad boy open, it's going to be something.
AI trailers.
AI trailer. Some AI video game. I don't know.
Too much. I'm sad now.
I am too. And a few years ago, this started with Meta. I thought we were going to stop at Meta.
Yeah, right?
Oh my God.
No. Well, I guess that's all she wrote on this one.
Yeah, I think it needs to be before
we have another existential crisis.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let us know. Like and subscribe and share. Talk to us. Share your thoughts on this these AI developments. If you agree or disagree, how you think they could be help, how you think they might be hurting, maybe hurting Hollywood is the help. I don't know.
Whatever.
Just hit us in the inbox. And until next week, I hope you have a good one. We'll see you all around.